Section 29. Sauti continued. A certain Brahmana with his wife had entered the throat of that ranger of the skies. The former began to burn the bird's throat like a piece of flaming charcoal. Even Garuda addressed it, saying, O best of Brahmanas, come out soon from my mouth, which I open for thee. A Brahmana must never be slain by me, although he may be always engaged in sinful practices. Unto Garuda, who had thus addressed him, that Brahmana said, Oh, let this woman of the Nishada caste, who is my wife, also come out with me. And Garuda said, Taking the woman also of the Nishada caste with thee, come out soon. Save thyself without delay, since thou hast not been digested by the heat of my stomach. Sauti continued. And then that Brahmana, accompanied by his wife of the Nishada caste, came out, and eulogizing Garuda, wended with wheresoever way he liked. And when that Brahmana had come out with his wife, that lord of birds, fleet as the mind, stretching his wings, ascended the skies. He then saw his father, and hailed by him, Garuda of incomparable prowess, made proper answers. And the great Rishi Kashyapa then asked him, O child, is it well with thee? Dost thou get sufficient food every day? Is there food in plenty for thee in the world of men? Garuda replied, My mother is ever well, and so is my brother, and so am I. But father, I do not always obtain plenty of food, for which my peace is incomplete. I am sent by the snakes to fetch the excellent Amrita. Indeed, I shall fetch it today for emancipating my mother from her bondage. My mother commanded me, saying, Eat thou the Nishadas. I have eaten them by thousands, but my hunger is not appeased. Therefore, O worshipful one, point out to me some other food, by eating which, O master, I may be strong enough to bring away Amrita by force. Thou should indicate some food wherewith I may appease my hunger and thirst. Kashyapa replied, This lake thou seest is sacred. It hath been heard of even in the heavens. There is an elephant with face downwards who continually tracked a tortoise, his elder brother. I shall speak to you in detail of their hostility in former life. Hear from me the fact why they are here. There was of old a great rishi of the name Vibhavasu. He was exceedingly wrathful. He had a younger brother of the name of Supritika. The latter was averse to keep his wealth joint with his brothers, and Supritika would always speak of partition. After a certain time, his brother Vibhavasu told Supritika, It is from great foolishness that persons blinded by love of wealth always desire to make a partition of their patrimony. After effecting a partition, they fight with each other, deluded by wealth. Then again enemies in the guise of friends cause estrangements between ignorant and selfish men after they become separated in wealth, and pointing out faults confirm their quarrels, so that the latter soon fall one by one. Absolute ruin very soon overtakes the separated. For these reasons, the wise never speak approvingly of partition amongst brothers, who when divided do not regard the most authoritative shastras, and live always in fear of each other. But as thou, Supritika, without regarding my advice, impelled by desire of separation, always wish to make an arrangement about your property, thou shalt become an elephant. Supritika, thus cursed, then spake unto Vibhavahu, Thou also shalt become a tortoise, moving in the midst of the waters. And thus, on account of wealth, those two fools Supritika and Vibhavasu, from each other's curse, have become an elephant and a tortoise. Owing to their wrath, they have become inferior animals, and they are engaged in hostilities with each other, proud of other excessive strength and the weight of their bodies. And in this lake, those two beings of huge bodies are engaged in acts according to their former hostility. Look here, one amongst them, the handsome elephant of huge body, is even now approaching. Hearing his roar, the tortoise also of huge body, living within the waters, comes out, agitating the lake violently. And seeing him, the elephant, curling his trunk, rusheth into the water, and endued with great energy with motion of his tusks and forepart of his trunk, the tail and feet, he agitates the water of the lake, abounding with fishes. And the tortoise also of great strength, with upraised head, comes forward for an encounter. And the elephant is 6 yojanas in height, and twice that measure in circumference. And the height is of the tortoise also is 3 yojanas, and his circumference 10. Eat thou up both of them, that are madly engaged in the encounter, and bent upon slaying each other, and then accomplish the task that thou desirest, eating that fierce elephant which looketh like a huge mountain, and resembleth a mass of dark clouds, bring out thou Amrita. Sauti continued. Having said so unto Garuda, Kashyapa blessed him, saying, Blessed he thou when thou art in combat with the gods. Let water pitchers filled to the brim, Brahmanas, kine and other auspicious objects. Bless thee, thou oviparous one, and O thou of great strength, when thou art engaged with the gods in combat, let the rishis and the yajus, the samas, the sacred sacrificial butter, all the mysteries, Upanishads, constitute thy strength. Garuda, thus addressed by his father, wended to the side of that lake. He saw that expanse of clear water with birds of various kinds all around, and remembering the words of his father, that ranger of the skies, possessed of great swiftness of motion, seized the elephant and the tortoise, one in each claw, and that bird then soared into the air, and he came upon a sacred place called Alambwa, and saw many divine trees, and struck by the wind raised by his wings, those trees began to shake with fear, and those divine trees having golden boughs feared that they would break. And the ranger of the sky, seeing that those trees capable of granting every wish were quaking with fear, went to other trees of incomparable appearance, and those gigantic trees were adorned with fruits of gold and silver, and branches of precious gems, and they were washed with the water of the sea, and there was a large banyan among them, which had grown into gigantic proportions, that spoke on to that lord of birds, coursing towards it with the fleetness of the mind. Sit thou on this large branch of mine, extending 100 yojanas, and eat the elephant and the tortoise. When that best of birds of great swiftness and of body, resembling a mountain, quickly alighted upon a bough of that banyan tree, the resort of thousands of winged creatures, and that bough also full of leaves, shook and broke down. So ends the 29th section in the Astika Parva of the Adi Parva.